Hello and welcome to the Random Wrestling Review. It is our local to global series today, and we carry on going with this um, great save. I mean, I've really enjoyed it, and we're now into mid 2000, racing along towards our 5th anniversary show. I don't know how many episodes this is now. It must be nearly coming on to 60, if not. We're not quite at 60 yet, I know, but we're nearly there. I mean, it's just been an epic series, and as I said, it shows no sign of finishing anytime soon. So if you want to continue to follow along, or you want to get involved in a really epic and long series and really lose yourself in the world that we've created, then get and subscribe to our channel to keep going along with us. Now, first of all, I'm going to start today's proper episode with a confession, and that is on our last event, the Full Circle event. I made some mistakes. Well, I made one big mistake, really. A big mistake, but a very small mistake all at the same time. So, effectively, yeah, this is the show, Full Circle, and it took place here. And unfortunately, what I meant to do, or I had in mind to do, was to give Mark Henry just a victory, a simple victory against anybody on the undercard of this event. And it didn't happen. And the reason that matters is this. So currently, Dave Bautista, obviously the champion. This is our ranking system. And if you haven't seen the ranking system, if this is your first time watching, just a quick recap of how it works. Effectively, everybody, for every win they get a point. Then when they get to be number one contender, they have a title match. If they lose that title match, they go down to 0 points and they move to the bottom of the rankings, or they win the championship, of course. And that's how, and the champion, the previous champion, loses all their points. So they go down to the bottom of the ranking. So that's how the ranking system works. Right now, Charlie Haas is in number one contender position with 8 points. But I intended to have Mark Henry in that position by giving him just one win. Unfortunately, I didn't do that. He's got 7 points. I would have 8 if I hadn't previously docked him at 1 point as part of an earlier storyline. So he is on 8 points, 7 points. Billy Kidman also on 7, Buddy Wayne on 7, Rex King and CW Anderson on 6. We've got CM Punk on 5, James Storm and Teddy Hart on 4, Chris Harris, ECMO and Keith Hart on 3, Barry Buchanan and Sean Stasiak on 2, Ace Steel on 1, and then you can see Eric Young, Dan Severin and Chemo on 0. And so that messed me up a little bit because I intended to do a match between Charlie Haas and Mark Henry to determine the number one contender. But now, realistically, there's no logical reason why that match would happen, given that Charlie Haas has already got more points than Mark Henry. And plus, there are 2 other wrestlers with 7 points. So I had to rethink what I'm going to do for this show. I have now done that, but it took me a couple of days and it felt like quite a significant moment in my life. It's not obviously at all significant, but it felt like it was for a little bit of time. So we have a reconfigured show. It is not anywhere near as good a show as I would have liked. I say as good, I mean in terms of a draw for our fans, but all the same, it'll act. There is going to be some consequences to it. It's going to progress some stories, so we're going to get into it right away, and potentially book 2 different shows for this in this episode. But we will see. I'm not can't guarantee that. So the show is going to start with Teddy Hart taking on Chemo in a regulation opener. We're going to make this 8 minutes. I think we'll have Teddy Hart take Chemo, to the limit a little bit, not like massively, but give him something to think about. A decent kind of almost equal match, but Chemo is ultimately going to win by pinfall in a match that will also work the crowd. Now, after this, we're going to have Mark Henry and Sean Stasiak cut a promo where they brag about putting Dave Bautista out injured. So this is how I'm going to kind of explain away why why Charlie Haas doesn't get a world title match straight away here. Batista on the shelf and reveal they attacked him at Lottery. Oh, is it going to fit? Brawl. No, by three letters. Brag about putting Batista out. Let's just make that much shorter. And reveal they attacked him at Lottery Brawl. So we'll go into the detail of this promo during the show itself, but that's the headline that I'm revealing right here, is that they are the ones who attacked Batista at Lottery Brawl, not Ace Steel. Speaking of Ace Steel, he's in the next match. He's going to be up against Eric Young. So another match featuring a member of the Rebellion. In fact, all four members of the Rebellion are in singles action on this night. And this one's going to see Eric Young pick up a surprising win. Flash pinfall finish. Victor. It's going to be Eric Young with botched interference. So Eric Young is going to... Sorry, that's wrong. Ace Steel is going to be accidentally cost the match by Emo. No, that's not right. It's going to be accidentally cost the match by Barry Buchanan. So that's that match. This is to continue to ferment those issues between the various members of the Rebellion. Billy Kidman is then going to face Barry Buchanan, and in a similar way to the last match, Billy Kidman's going to get a win when this is going to be a distraction finish with Barry Buchanan being distracted by Ace Steel. Actually, I'm going to make that the flash pinfall finish. And we will make this one just a regular pinfall finish, I think, because the idea will be here that this isn't a distraction. This is actually something Barry Buchanan does to Ace Steel, which takes him out effectively and allows Eric Young to pin him. Then we're going to have another angle, which is going to see James Storm and Chris Harris cut a promo. Now, you remember James Storm, as things stand, as of this show, has only 2 other shows after this left with the company. His contract runs out on 31st of July 2000. That's been made clear from the beginning of the year, when James Storm was revealed as the Shadow, of course. And so this is now going to see this is where we are with James Storm anyway. We're coming up to that deadline. But they have had 2 tag team victories in the last couple of weeks. And the Mavericks, as they are collectively known, challenge Red Alert for titles. Bruce Hart comes out and says they need to win tonight's 10-man tag. Can I fit tag in as well? Yes, I can. So that's Bruce Hart. We also need to come out here. I think we're going to script. Are we going to script these guys? I think James Storm's pretty good. Let's just leave it like that. So that's going to happen as well. So the Mavericks are getting closer and closer to those titles, but Bruce Hart says that they need to win tonight's 10-man tag main event. The final match before the main event, though, we'll see Dan Severn against ECMO, in Dan Severn's first match against the Rebellion. And Dan Severn's going to win this one. I think we'll go 9 minutes. Let's get a submission finish. And that's, in fact, we'll make it a storytelling match as well, just to get that in there as we need to. Now, after the match, the Rebellion are going to attack old Dan Severn together. Because of course they do, because Dan Severn has vowed that he is going to destroy the Rebellion. But a miscue means they end up arguing. So after losing 3 of the 4 singles matches they've been involved in the night, they also then have a miscue whilst trying to beat Dan Severn up, and they end up having a big row about it. So that continues their decline seemingly into implosion. And the main event is going to be a 5 versus 5 match, which I realise is starting to become a bit of a crutch for me, if I'm honest, because we had this at both of the last 2 free shows that we did. So this is a little bit less prestigious, but I figured this was actually as star-studded as I can make it. We have got CM Punk, Mark Henry, Sean Stasiak, James Storm, and Chris Harris against Buddy Wayne, Charlie Haas, C.W. Anderson, Keith Hart, and Bruce Hart is going to come out of retirement for this one match, because I just decided, that actually I needed an extra babyface. We didn't have Batista. We had to sell the idea that Batista was completely out of action for this show at least, possibly even the next show, but certainly for this show at least. And uh, that meant that we were just in that position where we had to do that. We're going to have Peace Heart take the loss for see it from CM Punk. Slow build, but the heels are going to get the victory. Now, this does a couple of things. First of all, it confirms that the Mavericks will face the Red Alert in the next or very soon. It also confirms that Mark Henry is up to 8 points alongside Charlie Haas, so that we can actually do what we were going to do uh, previously. No Batista, no Rex King for this show, but we don't need them for this one anyway. So happy with that. Let's just check that the storylines are good. So, Bud, this is the main reason I felt like I was able to go back to this 10-man tag style match, is because we've kept this storyline open. So I'm really pleased that we did that, because I was going to close this because the story has sort of run its course. But the fact that this means that this story is still running means we've still got the heat from it. There's 50 heat on it at the moment. This will almost certainly be the last we see of it, but I'm not ruling it out completely. We've also got this will be mixed up in the main event, and then obviously these two talking about Henry and Stasiak talking about Batista will keep that going, and the Rebellion implodes also going. Those are all of our stories at the moment, and they've all been running a little bit of time, so it might be. We're getting to that point where we're going to be happy for the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza to roll around. Anyway, this is the show. Let's go into it then. And we start with 129 people, which I think, again, is another record for paid attendance. We'll have to check that after the show. And in the opening match, Chemo defeated Teddy Hart in 8 minutes and 1 second by pinfall with a Samoan drop. Teddy Hart had an in-ring performance of 32, Chemo a 42, and he was off his game. But as an opener, a segment rating of 40 is very decent indeed. Teddy Hart is showing some skill, and very soon we might have to start to take advantage of that. Then, straight after this, we had Mark Henry and Sean Stasiak come to the ring and brag about the fact that they put Batista out. They say that Batista is not here tonight. It's been confirmed that he will be out of action for 2 weeks. And they reveal that they were the ones that attacked him at Lottery Brawl. They talk about the fact that not only did they attack him 2 weeks ago, but he was already weakened from the attack that they put him through at the Lottery Brawl, confirming it was them that attacked Dave Batista ahead of the proposed triple threat match at that show, not Ace Steel, as had previously been suspected by many. This got a segment rating of 40. Mark Henry was really good in this one, but Sean Stasiak struggled. Nevertheless, this was a good way of continuing on the Stasiak, Mark Henry, and Batista story. Then we had Eric Young versus Ace Steel in a short 6:33 match, with Eric Young winning by pinfall following botched interference by Barry Buchanan. Eric Young just had an in-ring performance of 22, but this was his first ever victory in the company. Ace Steel an in-ring performance of 38, and Steel's embarrassment and frustration goes on. This is all what this is his entire character is about, and that's why I was really happy to do the 1 day title reign, not even 1 day title reign, in fact, 1 hour title reign that he had during the Lottery Rule, because that felt like it fitted the narrative we've had around Ace Steel since the beginning, which is he's this unlucky heel that deserves all the unluckiness that he gets. But a segment rating here of 35, not too bad. Then we have Billy Kidman versus Barry Buchanan. Kidman picked up a rare victory in 8 minutes and 17 seconds by pinfall after a distraction from Ace Steel, with some hint, I suppose, that Ace Steel did it on purpose after Barry Buchanan cost him his match against Eric Young. It's got a segment rating of 37. Barry Buchanan was pretty good with a 37. Kidman has gone off the boil a little bit recently. He's had way better performances than that in the past, just a 29 in this one, but not too bad. Billy Kidman now actually has 8 wins following this victory, so he too has got up to the 8-win point. On top of the fact we've already got Charlie Haas there, and we're in the process of giving Mark Henry his 8th victory. Then we go to another segment here where James Storm and Chris Harris, the Mavericks, come out, and they say that after beating both Billy Kidman and Buddy Wayne and Keith Hart and Teddy Hart, that they surely are now in line for a title shot against Red Alert, and they challenge the champions for the belts. But instead of Red Alert coming out, Bruce Hart instead emerges from the back, and he says that they may have won those two matches, but they also need to win tonight's 10-man tag. And not only that, but he himself will be be entered into that match against them to try and prevent them from doing so. A segment rating here 41. James Storm was really good. So was Woman here, of course, the manager of James Storm and Chris Harris. And I'm very aware that it keeps coming across, and this is the difficulty I think with having a authority figure involved in the story so closely as this is, that Bruce Hart is kind of come across as a heel during the story. I'm hoping that it's, we're kind of relying on the context of the overall story and the things that have happened in the past for Storm and Harris to feel like the heels and for Bruce Hart's actions to be justified. But maybe we've gone the wrong side of anything here, but I don't know. But anyway, whatever the case, a good segment rating here, 41. And this angle meant that the story gained heat. Then we had Dan Severn against ECMO in a match that Dan Severn won in 8:37 by submission with a beast choker. Only a segment rating here of 30, though. I wasn't expecting huge amounts. Dan Severn has not been amazing, despite obviously holding the RWR Northwest title for some time previously. ECMO has really kind of gone down in his performances, and I am absolutely convinced that ECMO will not be in the company for huge lengths of time still to come, although we do have to resolve whatever we're going to do with the rebellion before he can go. He's still got a part to play in that particular story. Then after the match, Dan Severn is attacked by all four members of the rebellion, but a miscue when one of them's holding Severn and another one goes for a big right hand on him, where Dan Severn manages to duck and the person holding him takes the force of the blow, results in the four of them then arguing with one another about who was to blame. Ace still having to go at Barry Buchanan about costing him his match, Barry Buchanan doing the same back to Ace Steel, and general discord between all four members of the rebellion. Segment rating here 33 as the rebellion implodes story continues. And then to the main event, which was a 45 rated match. So we did really stuff it with as many good wrestlers as we possibly could in this one, and as many big names also. And a 45 rated main event is really, really decent. I mean, the fact is that has meant that the Mark Henry Batista Sean Stasiak story has advanced with the segment and gained heat. But CM Punk and Buddy Wayne, which was on such a high plateau after their 50 rated match, has actually come down. But still, that's a testament to how good that story was going. Punk was a 48 in the ring here. Charlie Haas a 46. James Storm a 44. Sean Stasiak a 42. Buddy Wayne a 43. Lots of 40 plus performances in this one. The lowest rated performance was from surely Bruce Hart, 24 there, and Keith Hart at 26. Keith Hart's actually performing a bit better at the moment than he has done in the past. Chris Harris up to a 35, which I think is his best performance yet in the ring for us. Same goes for Mark Henry at 32. CW Anderson at 34, not too bad. Just generally very, very happy with the main event. I was a little bit nothingy about, to be honest. I wasn't that convinced on it, but pleased with this, and we have at least put on a really good match to end a show that at one point I was kind of really wrestling with what I was going to do on it, so I'm happy with that. And it got an overall rating of 42, which is also really, really good. I think we will give CM Punk praise for a great performance. I think also Mark Henry should be complimented, not just for his performance in the main event, but also his promo in the night. And I think James Storm also in that same boat. So we got through full force, which I didn't at one point know if we were going to. I genuinely was concerned for a few brief seconds that this might be the end. When I realized the mistake I'd made, it was one of those things where it was such an annoying thing because it was so simple and so small that I thought, it's just going to be really annoying. And I didn't know if I would get over it. Anyway, walked away from it for a day and then came back to it. And I was like, okay, this is what we can do. I finally found a kind of formation or formulation, I guess I should say, of that event that I was happy to do. Now we're going to add one more event here, which is going to be called RWR Big Night Out, and I think I'm going to make this a numbered annual show. I think we're going to have this is perhaps one event that we're going to try and build to each year on the second week of July. We will just check the availability of everybody, which is fine. And put that in place. Oh, there we go. So Big Night Out, the new event in July, is what we're going to be doing, and yeah, that should be good. I think that will be a good name for it. We're gonna now just fast forward on to the end of the current month. I don't think there's anyone I'm going to sign, although I've got to be honest, I didn't fully plan the next show. So Big Night Out, I have got the main matches set up. We are going to see the RWR Northwest title on the line as Dave Batista will defend against Mark Henry. That will be Batista's choice to do so. We're also going to have Dan Severn versus Barry Buchanan in the second of his matches against the Rebellion. And we're going to have the tag titles on the line as the Red Alert will defend against the Mavericks in what is actually quite a big match too. Beyond that, I'm not entirely certain what we're going to do. I need to update the rankings, which is one of the things I really do need to do, because if I don't do that, I might miss something, which is pretty important given what I've been talking about earlier on in the show about the mistake that I made. That's something that we've got to do. But I think Big Night Out could be a reasonably important show in terms of the things that are going to happen. Lots of stories coming to a head at this point, and I'm looking forward to it. So it is half year awards time, which is decent. We've also had the King of the Ring. Let's do that first because we've got a new champion in WWF here. But who is it? It is Bret Hart is the King of the Ring winner, beats Rey Mysterio Jr. in the main event of King of the Ring 2000. I mean, look, WWF was in great form in 2000 at the time. So don't get me wrong, it's not like I think this might have been a better world. But the fact that Bret Hart in the middle of 2000 is still with WWF, still putting on absolute classics, and now getting to face Rey Mysterio Jr. in these types of matches, and doing 97 rated matches, 98 rated matches with Yokozuna earlier in the show. We've got The Undertaker versus Owen Hart in a 99 rated match, Rey Mysterio Jr. versus The Big Show in a 99 rated match, Bret Hart versus Dean Douglas in a 97 rated match. I mean, this is an unbelievable show. There are about, if you imagine, like, I know this is obviously ridiculous, but if you imagine these ratings, the 97 as 9.7 out of 10, like this has got a 9.7, 9.8, a 9.6, a 9.9, a 9.9, a 9.7, and 9.5 on it. It's packed with matches that potentially are 5-star matches if you want to rate it in that way. 71,000 as well in attendance. I mean, again, I think this is a wrestling world to die for in some ways. You have Psycho Sid and Shawn Michaels defeating Steve Austin and Al Snow in a tag team match as well. I mean, yeah, I'd like to watch this show, if I'm perfectly honest with you. So let's look at the half-year awards. So we've got Rey Mysterio Jr. winning the Wrestler of the Year award. He's in a really good place at the moment. Could be set to be one of the top wrestlers in the world for the next 5 years as things stand. Company of the Year so far is unsurprisingly WWF. They win it nearly every year. Tag Team of the Year is back to Diesel and Shawn Michaels, the two dudes with attitude. Match of the Year is at the In Your House February show where Rey Mysterio Jr. defeated Paul White. So that's a match I wasn't expecting to be up there, but there you go. Show of the Year is the In Your House from April. Let's go and have a look at that one. In Your House from April. Here it is. And the main event was Diesel defeated The Undertaker to retain the world title. Goldust defeated Steve Austin to retain the Intercontinental title. Bret Hart defeated Rey Mysterio Jr. by DQ in a 99 rated match. The Block defeated Brian Pillman and Lex Luger. The Block seems to be a stable, which we'll have a look at in a minute. Another 99 rated match. Paul White defeated British Bulldog in a 90 rated match. I mean, I'd say there are less great matches on this show than there were at King of the Ring, but there are two 99 rated matches and a 98 rated match on the same show, and they're all in big positions too, which doesn't hurt. Now let's just look at this stable, the Block. Here they are, and it's Shawn Michaels, Goldust, Ahmed Johnson, and Psycho Sid. Strangely, no Diesel, even though are they still a tag team? They obviously did win tag team of the half year, so it wouldn't. Yeah, they're still considered a tag team, but Diesel's not in it. Not in the stable. So that's an odd That's an odd makeup of things, but there we go. Anyway, the rest of the awards I should go through, I suppose. Young Wrestler of the Year is Yumi Fukawa. Well, at least half Wrestler of the Half Year. Veteran Wrestler of the Half Year is Fuerza Guerrera. These are sort of changing a little bit. Ric Flair's won this most years. I think Young Wrestler of the Year has been won by Rey Mysterio Jr. most years, in fairness, and I guess he's no longer qualified for that. Female Wrestler of the Year so far is Akira Koto. She keeps winning this award. And then Independent Wrestler of the Year so far is Jerry Sags. And it always blows my mind that in 2000, Jerry Sags was only 35 years old. So yeah, Bret Hart winning the King of the Ring tournament. I don't think that's the first time since the game has started that he's won that either. Let's just have a look at this in terms of titles in the WWF. King of the Ring. So here you go. Bret Hart has won it 5 times now. So he obviously won it back in 1991, then 1993, the first pay-per-view King of the Ring. Then he went in 96, and then he's won it the last 2 years as well. So the King of the Ring is Bret Hart's territory, basically. And then the World Heavyweight title, this is also interesting. So currently Diesel's the champion. The Undertaker was who he beat for it, and Owen Hart was the previous champion to that. He's a 2-time champion as well, the Undertaker now. So I think that's all the awards that are being given out. So we're at that point. Finances. I need to look at finances, and I'm a bit concerned. So yeah, I was hoping that this figure would be less than April's figure because we didn't do anything major this month. We haven't brought in kind of one-shot deals who are a bit expensive. We didn't even use Batista for one of the shows. We got more ticket sales, but sponsorship is down. And this is the problem. This is the lowest amount of sponsorship money we've got in 12 months, in the last 12 months. So that is the big hitter there. And the merchandise was down as well. So even though we spent less on workers, although we did spend more on show costs. I don't know why that. I think venue hire has gone up recently because we're attracting slightly bigger crowds. But yeah, that's a concern that is not as low at least as April and continues to increase in terms of the amount of money we're losing. I mean, we can't for very long sustain $1,000 per year losses per month, sorry, losses. I can only assume that is because the economy is still falling, and so is the wrestling industry. I wish it would show you the progress of this and how far it dropped, because I'd like to understand. So Northwest, is 25, 60. I don't know. I mean, it can't fall much further, right? So hopefully, the economy will start to grow again shortly, and we'll see those figures go up. And I'm going to take the gamble that is going to happen. Now, before we end this episode, I thought we'd look at the top 100 again. So the show we've just done, which was Full Force, was a 42 rated show. It's the second best show we've ever done. So that 10-man tag match, though it wasn't what I'd hoped for, was a good, was really performed well in terms of the critical reaction to it. In terms of top 100 matches, the 10-man tag main event was the 7th best match in company history, a 45 rating. CM Punk is starting to dominate here. He's in all 3 of those matches, that one and that one. So he's kind of 5 matches in the top 7, six matches in the top 10 feature CM Punk. So that sort of shows you how good he is getting now. And then top 100 attendances, Full Force was indeed the best paid attendance we've had in company history, 129. Only the 3 free shows are above that to this point. And so we're doing pretty well in terms of ticket sales, in terms of attendances, but yeah, not quite. Just a bit concerned about financially. Northwest is now up to 18 popularity. I think everything else will probably stay very similar elsewhere in the world. So there's only those 3 places anyone's ever heard of us. But Northwest up to 18, which means we're not in that kind of vulnerable state where we've just become tiny and could drop down below 17 again. I mean, I didn't expect that to happen. To move to our next size, we've got to achieve 35 popularity in the Northwest, which is going to take quite some time, given how long it took us to do 17. But I'm here. I'm here to do it. So let's keep pushing towards it. And that is everything for today's episode. Thank you very much for joining me. Next up on the show, we've got 2 July events to come. First one, the Big Night Out, which will feature 2 title matches and various other bits and pieces, which I think will be reasonably consequential, I should say. And then another lesser show, but I don't know exactly what's going to happen at that. And then, of course, in August, we are back with the Super Summer Tag Team Extravaganza, the 8 tag team tournament that takes place over 2 nights in that month. So thank you for watching. And if you have not done so already, please give this video a like, give us a subscribe as well. And until next time, thank you for joining me today.